Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, evening, wherever you are on this Saturday. It's Kate Richburg, and it is time for Saturday Stitchin'. Sorry, last night, it was Friday night, it was pizza night, it was movie night, and I scheduled everything, but I didn't schedule the broadcast. So I'm sorry if you're jumping in, if you couldn't find it earlier. I was going on and I'm like, where's my broadcast? So I scheduled it real quick. So a lot of you are jumping on, so I'm glad a lot of you have found it, which is great. But apologies that I didn't have it up. I'm going to put my hair like in a clip because it's falling into my eyes this morning. Makeup free day, makeup free, a little bit of lip balm, but makeup free, hair free, all of it because it's Saturday, right? We've got to just relax today and stitch and have a good time. I've got some things to show you. I've got a little bit of a preview. We've got some stuff launching after the broadcast. I've been hanging on to these for a bit, and I promised you I'd launch them like last week, but we were using Briolettes and we used the pearls to do floats. So this is kind of a fun kind of a bunch of Briolettes. It'll be really fun with that. So I'll show you those. I'll show you those a little bit later. Let's go ahead and take a look at the projects and chat. I want to know what you're working on today. My gosh, Ramona, it's snowing, cold and snowy day. Where are you? Let's see. I'll tell you, it is for me today. I'm trying to get my watch to work here. It is 61 degrees here. It's hard to see. 61 today. It's going to get up to 75 today, which will be nice. A nice bit of spring here. It's great to have you. And Mary Ellen, yes, I want to know what everyone is making on this Stitch-In Saturday. Looks like some people have rain. I hope some people have some sunshine. Janice will be, in Texas. All right. Snow. Wait, snow? Oh, well, in the Panhandle, maybe. It's crazy. I know the weather all over is crazy. But yeah, it's good. Let's see. Kim Crawford, thanks. I'm thinking of growing it out. I may return back to the bob for a little bit, right? And yeah, it's just, this is it. Au naturel. I tell my hairdresser, I'm all, should I dye my hair? And he's all, no, do not dye your hair. So, what are you going to do? Julie, making more of those pretty brick stitch earrings. I saw yours on social. They looked amazing, amazing, amazing. It was great. Let's see. Yes, taxes. I feel you, Karen. My goal was Friday to have everything done. Did I meet that goal? No. So my new goal is Monday, and I cannot miss that Monday goal or else I'll be in trouble. So anyway, we've got everything else done. Janice did her part, everything. I'm almost done with my part, but there's so much to do, not enough time. And Lorraine, I love that. Finishing knitting. That's great. Hello from Alberta. Hello, Velvet Jen. Our beautiful neighbors to the north. Love, love, love. My mom should also be making cards, Ma. I hope so. But I know my mom had a little bit of a flood in her house, so they have those fans going. Ugh, I hate floods. So Deborah says she's making cards for birthdays and anniversaries. That's awesome. That's great. Well, it's great to see everybody here. And it looks like everybody's making their way. So apologies for not having everything scheduled as I should have. But, I only have one brain and there's only so many hours in the day, right? So what are you going to do? All right. Well, let me add my second camera and see what we've got going on. I finished this earring from yesterday, from the Stitch In with Drea, or from the Free Tip Friday with Drea. Wasn't that fun? We had a good time with her for sure. And we finished that one up, which I just love. I hope there's enough light. Do you feel like it's light enough? I guess so. I only put up one light today, but that's what we're going to go with. Let me actually open the window. Hold on. Let me, you're also going to hear the plane go by, but there's the one. You saw two on the website, but I did a little Photoshop where I photographed one and doubled it over. So that was that. But I wanted to work on the second one today to talk to you about how I finished it up. Because I thought it was kind of a fun way to do it. And I also brought, yeah, I'm really liking these. Let me show you how these look. Okay, let me show you how these look on. I'm not wearing any earrings today either. Nothing. But it's really light and really fun. I love them. So I think the second one, when I get it done, is going to be great. So let me leave it here for just a moment. This is done with the Blue Note mix. I put on the homepage what we used on Free Tip Friday. Let me put this back on. I'm going to rustle around and grab a couple more findings for you. First, let me see if there's any of that Blue Note left. To be honest, I haven't looked. There are 6 more. So if you want to grab your mix, I would do it and then check out because it's going to sell out. I know that after this broadcast, I am going to be dropping, I'm going to show you some Briolettes and stuff. I am going to be dropping those guys. But if you've made an order this morning and you're like, oh, I want to make another order this afternoon, just put a note in your orders, okay? And Miranda and I will combine those when we ship next week. So if you've done 2 orders today, don't worry, we'll combine them because I think you're going to love the Briolettes that I'm going to share with you as well. So hold that thought. Let me go grab a couple more findings for you. I'm going to walk across the room here. You're going to hear me. You're going to hear me go even further away. But let me grab a few things that we can kind of play around with. That's what's so nice about having all of the product here, which is great, is that I can do a lot of this stuff kind of on the fly, you know, which is good. Let me do this, and let me get one of these. I've got a whole big tray of stuff right here. Okay. It's a good thing these stitch-ins are casual, right? Oh, and I wanted to show you. Did I show you the finished? Let me show you what I'm doing. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Mary Ellen. Those are very nice words. Don't pressure yourself to get the second one done. Single earrings make great Christmas tree ornaments. That is the truth, for sure. I like that. I like that idea. Let me show you what else actually I have been stitching on, and then we'll get to the earring. I think I showed you last week I was working on this bag that I was working on. I know, Tina, don't forget to breathe. Right? I am breathing, calm. You know, there's always something to do. But after the show, I'm going to take some time for me, which is going to be good. So this is that butterfly. If you were looking on my socials, on my Kate Richburg socials, my Insta, it's at Kate Frank Richburg, or Bead Kate is my handle on there. So, but I wanted to show you how I embellished this. because for the Great Bead Extravaganza, which is a week from today, which I can't believe, so a lot of stuff I got to get listed for that. But we're dropping some really beautiful embellishment products, I guess. I have some sequins for you that are dropping. Lots of really fun stuff. And the TGBE project is a bead embroidery project that I think you're going to love. I've made some mixes. I've made some sequin mixes, but I wanted to show you like how you could use like your bead embroidery skills, for other things. So what I did, I have some hot fix rhinestones in my inventory, right? From back in the day. And these are some fun sequins. You can see here's the opening here. It was really, really fun to do. And now I've got another one sitting here that I'm going to do. I'm going to do one more. It was kind of fun to do. So, but yeah, it's with my machine in machine embroidery. So it's a lot of fun. These are a lot of fun to play around with and to embellish. So I just wanted to share that you can do this kind of bead embroidery technique on anything, right? Oh, I still have this ticker. Sorry. Let me get rid of that. That was irritating. Sorry about that. But you can use it on clothing, right? We did the stitch in the Frida patch embellishment and stuff like that. So you can use all of these really fun bead embellishing techniques on anything. It doesn't have to be, like a piece of jewelry. This one, we'll touch on this maybe a little bit later after I talk about the earring. But this is the progress. We're still right here with the butterfly piece that I've done with the Gatsby mix. This, I really do think I'm going to do a hair clip because I think this would look great as a clip, right, in the hair. So I'm still kind of ruminating on how we're going to finish this one off. But let me show you with this earring what I did. And I'm going to actually, let me zoom in and pull this one up. And let me just kind of play around and start with this. Oh, and I also wanted to show you, I am stopping to breathe and smell the roses, or in all actuality, the orange blossoms. Look at how pretty these are. These are our orange blossoms that have fallen off of our tree. I've got an orange blossom tree here right outside the studio, and they just smell just delicious. So one of the beautiful things about California, and especially about Fresno, it's literally the citrus capital of the world. So yeah, they just smell amazing, amazing, amazing. So I thought I'd bring a few in here just to have. This is a good question. Let me move my stool over here so I can see it. And so I'll have to do a broadcast about all of my sewing machines for you sometime so we can talk about those. But Tina has a question about, do most sewing machines, are they able to stitch different stitches? It just depends. So if you have like a regular old sewing machine, right? Some of them do have like fancy stitches, right? Like little zigzags or little, little swirls, things like that, that just, usually just kind of stitch in that straight line. Some machines are like a hybrid machine, like not a bead embroidery, but an embroidery machine and a regular sewing machine. So there's like a module or a thing that slides on, that's the embroidery attachment. So that's kind of a hybrid machine. And then there are some machines that are only embroidery. They don't sew and embroider. And you could get like a single needle machine, or you can get a multi-needle machine. So you can really just do a deep, deep dive down into the bead embroidery sewing machine combos. I love both of my machines that are embroidery and sewing are brother machines. I work these machines hard, right? I, you know, I'm not especially, what do I want to say? Careful, I guess is the word, right? Because I've been doing, like, I embroider on, like, this is vinyl. Let me put this in front so you can see it. This is like vinyl here. This is heavy. This is in, like, with a lot of stabilizer and stuff. I do put in fresh needles a lot, so they pierce down and everything. But I really put these kind of through the ringer. This is a waterproof canvas here on the back. So the brother machines that I have, I love them. I have just a little teeny, like 4x4 hoop, and then my second one has a big hoop all the way up to like 4.5x9 or something like that. So if you're looking to get an embroidery machine, my advice to you is to buy one that's used, not new. Embroidery machines new, some of them, they can cost as much as a new car, right? They're so expensive. And with what's going on with tariffs and all this crazy stuff, who knows what things are going to cost. So a used machine is great. My little machine I won, which I think some of you have heard that story. I won it in a drawing. Was super, super lucky. And then pretty early on, I realized I wanted to kind of level up to larger things, to embroider larger things. So I got a used brother. And I bought it really for like a quarter of what it was new, right? Because a lot of like the vac and sew places that are near you that carry embroidery machines, people trade in their machines. It's kind of like the car game, right? The sewing machine game is kind of the same. So I would say especially on an embroidery machine, I would go used for sure. You can go in, test drive. Usually you have literally test drive it. Usually that comes with some kind of classes and things like that. Lots of stuff on the internet to learn them. But I would suggest buying used, right? And buy it from a store so it has kind of a guarantee or some kind of, mine had a year's worth of, service and stuff associated with it. And I do clean my embroidery machine a lot, right? I take it apart, I dust it, I get all the dust and stuff out of it, and then I put it back together. Just the sewing portion, nothing too crazy. And I think that makes a big difference. Cleaning, and your regular sewing machine as well. If you sew a lot, when's the last time you cleaned that machine? Clean that lint out of there. But I love brother sewing machines. I love old Singers. A vintage machine that's like analog and not digital, just a regular mechanical machine. I love I recommend, I recommend them. And yeah, jump in and, like Tina, you're saying you bought yours from Walmart, just a small, cheap one. But you know what? If it works for you, then you can level up. There's no shame in an inexpensive sewing machine, for sure, right? If you just need something that sews a straight stitch and you're just doing simple things, more power to you, right? And then you can level up. Yep, like I bet you, Mary, those Berninas are old girls, right? I have a good friend, my friend Susan, who I just went to visit. Her mom has her Bernina from, I don't know, what we sewed our high school dresses on, I think, for sure. So, it just depends. You can also find them on like Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, or, kind of resales like that. I've picked up a couple of vintage machines that way. I love a machine from like the 60s, early 70s, 50s even. They're just workhorses, and those motors are built to last, and they're metal. Those machines will outlive us for sure. So it just depends. There's no you don't have to buy like a $3,000 sewing machine, So jump in, kind of try things out. If you ever come through Fresno, come and see me. I'll let you sew on my machines, right? So anyway, that's my little sewing machine diatribe today. So let me if you ever have any questions, you can always shoot me an email. Let me put this up. I didn't put this up here yet. Where you can find us all over the internet. Of course, you can hit us up at info@beadshop.com. If it's the weekend, sometimes Miranda looks at I'll admit I haven't looked at emails yet today. But emails we usually do Monday through Friday, business hours. If you email us on the weekend and it's super important, right? 911 Stitch, we'll try and get back to you, but we try and keep those emails to regular business hours for us. But don't hesitate. Reach out, hit us up at info@beadshop, and we'll be glad to answer any of those questions. You can find us all around the web at beadshop.com. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. So many of you are watching us right now on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching us live and watching us on the replay, and for those likes, shares, and subscriptions. It's really helping our channel grow. We just celebrated 15 years of our YouTube channel and over 1,000 projects. So we are really super grateful for that. So thank you so much. And of course, you can find us on our Facebook page, the Bead Shop Bead Table. So many of you are over there and are so welcoming to newcomers that come on there, answering questions, all kinds of great stuff. So we really, really appreciate you finding us over there on social. Of course, Instagram, give us a shout out over on Insta when you use something from Bead Shop, a product or a project. And tag us so we can re-Insta it. And of course, our Pinterest pages have so many great ideas and our projects and stuff. And so when you go to our Pinterest page for beadshop.com and share out those pins, it really helps bring people back to the mothership here. I also wanted to give a big Saturday thank you to those of you who leave us a tip at our coffee account. Buy us a coffee over at coffee.com. We really appreciate you, and you folks have been very, very kind as a kind of a thank you to help us keep this education and learning free and accessible for all. It's certainly not a requirement, so don't feel obligated. But if you are feeling, like you want to just toss a little something over to Bead Shop as a thank you for all of our free education, we really, really appreciate it. You can find it over on our coffee account. The link is also up on our YouTube channel. You can find it there. But again, please don't feel any obligation or pressure to do so. We had just been asked by some of you, and so we put that up. So thank you, and we super, super appreciate it. Really makes a difference to have us continue all of this free education. We really appreciate you on that. So, all right, let's get to, let me see if I can take this down, do this. Let's do this. And let's see. Oh, and thank you so much, everybody. Is really such nice comments. Thank you. Yeah, I love these this Black-Eyed Susan print. I think this is an Anna Maria Horner. I think this is hers right here. I think that's what this one is. This dot, I think, is a Tula Pink dot here, so it was kind of fun. Let's see, going through, seeing if there's anything else I need to, great. Oh, and Karen, thanks for that, that tip. You know, it's always a fight with the algorithms, right? Always a fight against, right? Trying to get content. There's so much content out there, right? So much, so much. So, if you do just leave those likes, you know, kind of break them up or whatever, but we really appreciate the engagement for sure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so let's take a look then at this earring, shall we? Let me do this. All right. And let me straighten my camera. There we go. Okay, so I brought some other component parts. We have really a ton of components that you can use for your brick stitch, right? If you go to beadshop.com, you go under components, click on there, you can really see a lot of the kind of open components and findings that we have. The brick stitch, if you're new to it, it's so easy to do. I'm going to show you again today. If it's old hat, like Julie, I know you're brick stitching away right now. It's kind of a simple, easy, I don't want to say mindless, but it kind of is. It's really repetitive, really kind of a nice way to, you know, create earrings fast and light. So you can see all the ones that we carry. We also have a bunch of these. You could do things like around a shape. Like we could definitely brick stitch around this quadrifoil, especially in the 11/aughts. That would look really great. So, you know, experiment. And what I would do is I would grab some for your stash to play around with so that when the inspiration hits, it's there for you. Let me just give you a quick little sneak peek. I want to show you. I'm putting up a bunch of Briolettes are launching at 12:30. I think it's 12:30 today. I got these from one of our really trusted Tucson vendors, and they've been kind of burning a hole in our pocket, in my bead pocket, really since, you know, for like the month. It takes a lot to kind of put new product up. So these are pink amethyst brios. I'm going to be selling these in groups of 6, these little guys. And these are small, but the quality on all of these briolettes are really gorgeous. The newsletter did say 12:30. Perfect. Great. Thank you, Carrie. 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. So I need to make sure that I wrap things up by 12:30. So let me show you here this size, and I might kind of throughout the broadcast pull some of these down. But there's some smaller brios. You know, we carry our regular briolettes like this, right? And that's what I used at the bottom here of this earring. And our regular brios, just so you know, they are about 10 millimeters tall by about 10 millimeters wide. So it's something I kind of call like a round briolette, is kind of like this shape. Sometimes the vendors, they also call these heart briolettes, because if you invert it, it kind of looks like a heart like that. But these are kind of long and skinny. They're smaller. These are pink amethyst. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but the pink is really kind of light, but really beautiful. It's kind of what you want rose quartz to be, and rose quartz isn't always like that. Come on. Let me do it this way. They're so delicate that they're not delicate like they're going to shatter, but they're just small and kind of hard to measure. So this one, these are about 6 by 9 millimeter, these here, right? And something like this comes in a set of 6. So these would be gorgeous to use in a brick stitch earring, kind of like that, right? Like a little smaller. I could have even put some, look at how good that really adds actually quite a bit to the piece. You can also use them in like at the bottom of dangles and stuff like this. So these are the pink amethyst. I love them. The Briolettes, pricing wise, and they're kind of, there's some different price points. I'm selling them by the group because when we send them to you, I want to get you a nice kind of matched grouping instead of rather selling them by the piece. A couple are by the piece. I've got some sapphire ones that are by the piece. But they're in beadshopStudio, so they don't qualify for discounts or anything, but I've really priced them very, very well. These semi-precious brios, especially small ones, are expensive. But I really tried to price them as best as I could for you folks. It's kind of a fun, just a little something to add to your Briolette stash. Okay. So let's take a look at this drop. Okay. And let me go back to creating this earring. The earring itself, you can see when I was designing this piece, what I did was I reduced it here as it goes down, right? Like this. So it doesn't go across like this here. It kind of tapers down. And as I went around, I didn't add any room down here. So can you see here kind of on the side view how it kind of curls in just a bit? And I'm really okay with that. It started to curl and I thought, oh, maybe I'll take them out or whatever, but I don't think so. I really love the way that this has this shape. If you wanted, like if I force it to kind of lay down, and I guess I could use like the diamond glaze or whatever to force it to stay in this. I don't know, I might, but I like the way that curve looks. But if you like it like this, you can use the diamond glaze to stiffen, right? And it'll stay stiff like this. You could also add, like when you're stitching in your brick stitch, you add 2 beads to 1 bridge, right? You'd go under the bridge and go once, and then you would go over, and in that same thread bridge, you'd stitch again. So it starts to kind of spread everything out a bit, right? So then it wouldn't like curve inwards. It would fan out like this. And so I did 1, 2, 3, I did 4 rows like that. Okay. Then I finished it off by using a picot with this 11-aught, and I did a brick stitch with that same 11-aught on the interior. And that is the opaque dyed slate here. And then, which is the same, it's a little different color in the 11-aught, but it's also, the slate is in this blue note mix. And then I pulled out the 8-aughts and did kind of a little 8-aught, replace the middle 11-aught bead in the picot with the 8-aught here. And I think it really gave it some texture and some flair, which I like. Oh, and Ramona, I'm so glad the green amethyst brio with the gold bezel is to die for. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like it. Great. I love mine too. They're really nice. Oh, and I'm glad you like the curl. Yeah, it does kind of give it kind of a good kind of 3D aspect to it. So I don't know. I may stiffen them. I may even just stiffen the curl in them, but I don't know. I kind of like the movement of the beads too. So I don't know. I'll probably keep it. And then here at the bottom, what I did was I came down, I put my beads on, then my brio, then I came back up. So I skipped one of the 8-aughts in the center, so it sits kind of nice in the middle of this curve. So Trish is asking, I'm having a little issue with your brick stitch work. You find that it curls. So depending, Trish, also if you are, let me get this one down. This is one that Allie made for us. And can you see here this kind of medallion piece? We started with 8s, then it goes to 6s, then it goes back down to 8s, and then it goes to 3mm fire polish here. So when you kind of change your bead size from row to row, it kind of gives it, like this 6/0 takes up about 1.5 of these beads here, right? So it gives itself a little more room. When you're doing something that is like this, like the 4 rows that I did here, especially when I get down into here, when it starts to curve around, the bead around the curve is taking up a little bit more room. So if I wanted it to lay flat, like I mentioned before, I would, if here's my thread bridge, let me show you. Here's my thread bridge. Here's my notes from the other day from the purl knotting class, but let me show you. Let me see if I can draw it right here. Let me see. Oh, and Janice is here. Hi, JP. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you are here, my friend. So if this is your circle, right, and you've done your bead, and here's this, and there's the thread bridge, okay, that's going down into the bead hole, right? And so here's my next bead, and here's my next bead, okay? And then now here's my thread bridge, and it goes around, and then it goes around and up, okay? When you come in for your second row, let me get a different color here. When you come in, do I have another color? I've got so many pens here, I should. Hang on. When I come in for my second row, right, your bead in brick stitch kind of sits offset, right, like a little brick. So you'd come here, you'd go under this thread bridge, right, and then you'd go, your next bead would come under this next thread bridge here. What you would do is, like every third bead or fourth bead, you'd make a bead, you'd put a bead under the same thread bridge twice, right? So there'd be 2 there, and then here you do 1, here you do 1, and then maybe down here you do 2. This pen isn't working. Let me move to another pen. Let me see. There we go. Is this one going to work? I don't know if this is a different color. Yeah, there we go. So you would do 1, you would do 1, you would do 2, and then maybe you do 1, 1, and 1, right, going down like that, and then maybe you would do 2. So it just depends on how close, you know, or how tight this curve is, and it'll take a little bit of experimentation. Okay, I think that's the best way to kind of play around with it. And yeah, I've done that in the floor wax for sure. Like they also use kind of floor wax to, sometimes people use it to seal metal and stuff like that. But that's another one. The floor wax usually is kind of shiny, like you're mentioning there, Cindy. So it might leave a little bit of sheen or shine on your beads. But the diamond glaze will work if you want to, you know, flatten everything. And what I would do is I'd put the diamond glaze on, I'd flatten it on a flat, like my hard wood top desk. I'd put a baggie on top, and then I'd flatten it. Okay, like that. So, so hopefully that helps. Hopefully that makes some sense for you. So let's take a look at starting this project again just for fun. And what I did, and you can see here, and I can give you the counts. This is the long drop from None that we have. None also has this round one, which I really like. This also makes a really good one. And Trish, we do carry diamond glaze, and I show how to use it in several shows, especially around the holidays. I did a, let me see if it's around here. I saw it and I stashed it somewhere so I wouldn't lose it, and now I can't see it. But I did a snowflake where I stiffened it with the diamond glaze. And that might have been on a Saturday stitch-in. So maybe look under those. But it's really easy to use. Really, really easy to use. Okay, so what I did was, let's look at the count, because I didn't really break it down yesterday on the show. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 37. 37 beads around. Okay? I'm going to actually make some notes, because when I need to put this up as a project, you folks will know. So base row is 37 8/0, right? And you can make this any color you want. This has 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different beads in it that I ombre'd from the Blue Note mix. And then I chose one 11/0 that, as I say, is the 11-4479, the slate. And then I used a Briolette in Tanzanite right here. So I start off with the brick stitch. I was using Fireline. You know, had I thought about it and maybe thought a little further ahead, I had the Fireline just sitting here on my desk, so that's what I used. But, pardon my reach there. Since I'm using a silver hoop, I might have used Ceylon in gray. Not Ceylon, sorry. KO. I might have used it in gray to really blend in with this silver. But the black Fireline looks fine the way it is, right? So, Maria, with the diamond glaze, like for instance, like this earring that's kind of floppy, right? Floppy is not a very pretty word, but let's say that you were making these snowflake earrings and you were making them a little bit larger and they were curling and stuff, right? I just use it as a stiffening agent. So, and I don't, well, do I have mine sitting right here? What it is it's just like it dries clear. It goes on. It glues things together, but it also stiffens things. Okay, so I would put this piece on a baggie, put some diamond glaze on it, kind of spread it around, let it dry, and then it would stiffen this. It would kind of fall into the nooks and crannies in between the beads as well, but it's not super noticeable. Okay, so if you want to stiffen something, it's one of the many things that you can use, but the diamond glaze is what we carry. And Kathleen, I think you're right. The Fireline might make this a little stiffer than normal. I've been using a lot of Fireline lately, and I'm kind of still loving it, right? But Drea used KO yesterday. The earrings I was wearing yesterday were done with KO. So either works, right? Either works out fine. And so, and you can, Janice, you can use the diamond glaze from the front or the back. Usually gravity pulls the diamond glaze through the beads to the other side. I'm looking for the earring, I promise you, you remember I was wearing it all holiday. It was the snowflake earring, and I set it somewhere very carefully so I wouldn't lose. Oh, here it is. So see here, this snowflake, it's pretty stiff, right? You can, like, it is also brittle. So if I were to really like break this, you could break that seal or break that bond. But it really looks nice with it. Maria, you could use it flat. I think I stitched this one onto Ultra Suede here. I could have probably glued this on with diamond glaze and stiffened everything. I haven't experimented as much with fabric on the back as well. But you could, right? You could. So anyway, it's fairly inexpensive. It's really fun to work with. Like if I wanted to stiffen this one more time, get another coating on here, I certainly could. I think this just has one coating on it. And then I do all of this on a plastic baggie so it doesn't run everywhere. Okay. But those are fun pieces. All right. So, here, let me show you. Let me get this going. Oh, is Ellen here? Hi, Ellen. Good to see you. Thank you, everybody, so much for being here today on this Saturday. I know there's a lot going on out in the world today, and I appreciate you being here. There's a lot going on in the world every day, right? Just taking things day by day, my friends. Day by day. And I felt that my duty today was to be here offering a creative sanctuary to those who need it, right? That's kind of what these stitch-ins are all about. Let me see if I can needle that thread. Come on now. Come on. I got to get a little closer to my eyes. Sorry. And yes, the master classes, the pearl knotting master classes, I don't know if you folks saw, there's a link. I think it's on the homepage still. But if you go under master classes, all 3 episodes, episode notes for the master class for pearl knotting are up and ready for you to download for your notes. So I'll be doing that for the rest of the master classes as well. Okay. So, yeah, Cindy, I don't really know what dimensional means either. I think what they mean when they say dimensional is, let me show you. Like, here's this piece. If I show it to you on the side, I don't know if you can really see it, but this center of the snowflake, this isn't stitched on, it's glued on, and it's glued on with diamond glaze. And I think what they mean by dimensionality is that it fills cracks or seals cracks, right? If that makes sense. So, like some glues, they're so thin, right, that they don't really go to fill a gap. I think that that's what they mean by dimensional, is that it kind of fills a gap as well. And Ellen, who's used diamond glaze a lot, who is probably much better at it with it than I am, she says you can use diamond glaze on paper and it'll be slightly braised, so maybe it kind of permeates the paper and kind of puffs it up or something a little bit. And Trish, it does self-level. So like with this, when I did this piece, You can, what I did was I put it on, I might have started and put it on the back, put it down on the baggie, and then just let it dry, right? And then I came in, and when I glued this gem duo to the top, I've added a little bit more of the diamond glazed here. Okay, so it definitely self levels, especially if it's on a level surface. Okay. Oh, and Julie, thank you for this. I think dimensional can also mean you can pile stuff up and cover it with diamond glaze to keep it in place. That also makes sense. We used to do that a lot with epoxy, right? When we'd make a puddle of epoxy and we put things like rhinestones and different things in there, and we'd make earrings out of. I've been threatening to revisit that technique, and I just may have to. It's just so, what did we call those? Glitzy earrings, Janice, I think, from back in the day. Glitzy earrings. I do have some really nice point back Swarovski crystals that I've been hoarding. So maybe we'll do that. It's really fun. And then you put an earring back onto them, and then you feel super fancy pants, which is awesome. So yeah. I love this. I love that everybody, oh, I love it. Yeah, it would be fun. And let me see if I can get some, I have a pretty big stash of foiled point back rhinestones still from way back in the day. But yes. And Karen, I think you could, let me see this one here. Karen K saying, I thought diamond glaze was for those 3D diamond paintings. You could do that if you wanted to seal them. I think you could also probably use it with that, for sure. Let's see. And Kathleen, the snowflake pattern this was from a Saturday Stitch-In. Did I put these exact snowflakes? I'm going to have to check. And if I didn't, I've got my list. Remember how we did that list together? I still have my list. I will add it and check it. Okay. This snowflake, because, I can hardly remember my name some days, much less the things that I have put on the website. So, I'm going to write it in green because it's holiday, Christmassy. I want to make sure that the Gem Duo Snowflake is a project. Because why not get ready for the holidays and everything early, right? This one, essentially, and let me show you on the back, and you can watch I think I did this on a Stitch-In, one of the early Stitch-Ins. You can find all the Stitch-Ins under videos. It has Facebook Live. It has Free Tip Friday. It has Kate's Creative Connections from way back in COVID times. And then it has Saturday Stitch-Ins. And I put the Saturday Stitch-Ins that we do, they're all on that list. So you can find them all. Okay. So you can see I just started here and I did this little circle of 6. Then I wove up and I wove an 11-aught, a Gem Duo, an 11-aught, and I went all the way around. So I had like this portion there. And then the last one I did was I went and did one final round, Gem Duo, 2 11-aughts, a Super Duo, a Gem Duo, a Super Duo, 2 11-aughts, and all the way around there. And that was it. And then at the top, I just stitched in one of those little component parts for the Gem Duos, like that. Okay. So that was it. Super, super easy. Let me see. Let me go back. Okay, so I'll put these in there. Thanks, JP, for that. I'll put these in there, in all my spare time. How about I promise you that I'll get them done before next holiday season? How does that sound? Sound good? Perfect. Clarissa is saying she's going to use the diamond glaze on the Drea earrings that, oh yeah, the red ones. Oh, right. These, mine kind of curl here. It's this one. Yep. Let me show you. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. I need to put that back in the thing. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. Here they are. I just pulled them. I literally just pulled them off the wall. So you can see how kind of they don't look as pretty. So if we kind of pull them out and shape them, right? So they're the hoops. Remember these from when we did all those hoop earrings? These are so pretty. And what I would do if I were putting diamond glaze on this, I would get a big baggie. I don't have a big baggie, so I'll use this little thing from the Silk with Needle. I would roll it up and I'd put it on the interior like this, right? Then I would put my diamond glaze on it. Shall we just do it? I was going to brick stitch, but let's put some diamond glaze on here. Okay? Let's do it. Why not? I mean, what can it hurt, right? Here's the diamond glaze. This is what happens. You ask us questions, you ask me questions and I'll do it, right? I know. So we've moved. We've changed course. What are you gonna do? Let me get a baggie here. And I know this is a pair. I can't find the other one. The other one's not hanging up there. So I'll just do one. And it'll be a good compare and contrast. They're here somewhere, honestly. Honestly. Right? Yeah, I love these too. These are with, and I want to make them with, there it is, with the bigger hoops. And this is 3 rows and then a row of 11/aughts right here. This is with, I think, the 30 millimeter hoop. We have the 40. You know, you can make them with any size. I just love this dimension. And they're under, if you go to Bead Shop, I'll show you how to find them. If you go to Components and Findings, click on Components and Findings, and I think they're under ear wires, to be honest. Yep, they're right on the home page, the top of the page. We've got the 40 millimeter, the 30 millimeter, and then the 20 millimeter. And it looks like we're out of the 20 in silver and out of the 30 in gold, but we'll be getting those back in. I want to get them in 60 millimeter as well. One size larger, but they're at the very top of ear wires there. Okay. Right there. Yeah. My mom is saying, getting distracted easily must be genetic. Let's make a beer bottle doll. Someday we'll tell you that story. That's right. So funny. Okay. So let's go ahead and here's the diamond glaze right here. Okay. Water-based, easy to do, easy to work with. And I'm just going to come in and I'm going to go from the top on these. Might as well, right? So here, let me make sure that this is open. Hang on. Hold, please. You get this. I don't think I've opened this yet. Sorry, I got to get it in my eye line. Hang on. Hang on. I'm trying to get this open. I can also just click, kind of clip the top a little bit too. Hang on. But yeah, there we go. I'm just using my needle. Kind of get it open like that. Okay. So now, yeah, there we go. Just a little pin in there. So see what this looks like? Let me get a little closer. There we go. Can you see that pretty well? And see how it is self-leveling. It's just going right in there. I'll do this side. I'm staying away from the center where the thread is and putting this on this plastic baggie is really helpful. Right? Because if it wasn't on the plastic baggie, sorry, I hope it's not. It might be a little too close. There we go. If it wasn't on the plastic baggie, it would be difficult for me to hold. And it doesn't look like it's affecting the finish of the beads. You may want to test this. You may want to test this on the beads before you put them on, because sometimes adhesives can affect the finish on the bead. Janice is asking, why am I staying away from the center? I don't know that I need it in the center. I don't know that, I mean, I guess I could. Maybe it won't make any difference. I don't know why it feels like in my gut I want to stay away from the middle of my beading intuition, I guess, tells me I want to do that, but I don't know if I have any logical reason for it, other than maybe I just don't want to put it directly on the thread, but it is going on the thread when I put it on these beads, right? So it might be a little clogged up. Let me get that pin back. Where did it go? Where did the pin? Well, here's another wire, you know? Yeah, I could use maybe parchment paper. I want to use something that's slick so it doesn't stick to it. I don't know why I worry about wax paper sticking, but maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. It feels like it's a little clogged again, so I want to get that pin back in there. And if it does clog, see, I'm just putting that pin in there. I don't think it's going to damage the gold-plated beads, Margaret. We're going to find out, though. Right? We're going to find out. There we go. Back to flowing here. And I'm putting a pretty good amount on here. I'm going to definitely have to find the other earring, though, so I can, sorry, I was out of focus, or out of screen there, so that they'll both be stiffened. And see how it's kind of fallen down into the crevices of the beads, but I just want to make sure. It's kind of giving it some little encouraging taps. And then we'll look at this at the end of the show. Okay? So, and you can kind of see it from the side. So if you kind of need to shape it to make sure that the shape is right, you can kind of do that. Right? Because it will, it's going to stiffen. It's going to stiffen when it dries into the shape you give it. So, okay, so I'm just going to, this will hold like this. And, you could use a dowel for sure. I just don't have one that's, well, maybe I do. Will this fit in there? Not quite big enough. But there, if you have a little dowel or something. Yeah, Soul Gel, Ramona, maybe. Anything that's coated. Like these are, I think the rainbow ones are in here. You definitely want to test it, right? Just don't. I did this because this is just a sample, right? And it's what we do. But if you're at home kind of playing around, I would definitely check it. Okay. So now I'm just going to take this, I'm going to put it to the side, and we will just let that, this dowel isn't straight on the end. Whoops. And I just dropped it. That's not good. I'm just going to let it sit there and dry. Okay. And set. All right. So let's get back to this brick stitching. Okay. Oh, Kathleen, I'm sorry, right? I was cleaning, you were cleaning the kitchen. Pardon me. Pardon me. And now you're looking for super duos and hoops. Oh, perfect. Well, you know, sometimes you just have to seize the moment. Seize it, right? Okay. Who are you and what are you all doing in my bead studio? All right. Let me come in and we'll start this brick stitch. I'm going to start by tying this around, and I leave a little bit of a tail. So I'm just going to make that square knot right over left. And I'm going to leave a pretty good tail here. Like that. Like that. Okay. So, and that's really like the only knot I'm going to tie with this piece. So now if we look at this earring, and I started right here up at the top. Let me tell you a little tip here. What I did was I actually started with one of the crystal, matte crystal. And I actually came a little further down because I wasn't quite sure how it was going to play out at the top or how it would be even. So I actually came back after I had completed this and I kind of stitched another one on here. So I added it because I realized that's how I finished it off here. So you can kind of work backwards sometimes as well, right? I agree, Janice. This hoop is so beautifully done. It looks great just as a hoop on its own. You can just use this as a hoop like this on an ear wire. Okay. And you could, here's another one of the Briolettes that I'm going to be launching after the show. This is a sapphire Briolette. I only have 12 of these. Look at this blue sapphire one. You could just dangle, wire wrap a blue sapphire Brio on the bottom. And that would just be a terrific statement earring. Just like that with the hoop. Obviously that would be gold, but you could wire wrap that with silver and it could be a 2-color thing. These sapphire Brios are nice. They are tasty. They're a little smaller than our regular size Briolette. There's our regular size Briolette. So for scale, you can kind of see that there. And these I'm selling by the piece. Okay. So you'll see those. They'll all launch on beadshopStudio, as I said, in a little less than an hour. There. So, okay. So let me start with the clear crystal, the matte crystal. So I start with 2. Brick stitch, you always start with 2 beads, right? The first 2. So I go on. Let me make sure I can see here. I'm going to go under my hoop and I kind of pull these 2 together. Okay. I go up the one on the right to tighten it around the hoop like this. And then I always come back, I stitch backwards, and I go through that first bead just to give myself a little bit of something. So, and I go back up, and then I go back down around the hoop, and back up. Come on. There we go. Okay, and then the tail just kind of hangs out there. I think the tail got a little tangled. So there we go. And this, see how that first bead is sitting kind of funny, right? It's getting kind of funny right there. It's kind of hard to see. Let me zoom in. Like so. When you come back in and you come back to the other end, and you'll reinforce this a little bit more, it'll stitch fine. You could, Lorraine, definitely do double with this. I wanted to see how these would lay individually, and the way that I kind of tapered them worked for the single, but you could use a double here too. Play around with it. Okay. Oh, thanks, Janice, for that little sneak. Yes, we do have some really beautiful Becky Nunn, 1, 2, 3 of these components launching. Stay tuned to the newsletter. I'm going to try and launch them early. There's just not enough hours in the day for me to get everything done. But we've got the components that we have are so delicious for the bead embroidery. We're also going to do the bead embroidery cuffs. One of the mixes, they're going to be large, but this is actually one of the bead embroidery mixes sitting here on my table because I've got to make the samples. But we've got so many great things coming for you for the TGBE. I was really racking my brain to try and figure out a project, right? I want to make the project fun for everybody, but also good for beginners. You know, it's going to be fun, I think. So here's my second one. You kind of have to go along and stitch a bit. This thread is really long, so I'm going to double it over a little bit more. You kind of have to go along and stitch for a bit to kind of get everything so that it's so that it kind of stays where you put it, right? Especially this first line. So we'll come in. So the next one is this alabaster, and I have 3 of these. And I think I've got all of the beads in groups of 3 colorways, you know, in each color from here on out on this line. So there we go, around the component and up. Okay. So there's my first, the 2 crystal, then I go to 3 alabaster. Then it's 3 of this gray, whichever color this is. Let me see here. It is, I'll tell you. The recipe for the mix is on the home page. It's matte metallic silver gray is this one. It's the 8-2, pardon me, 2002. So now we'll stitch these on. So 1, you know, I really have to thank Emily for this brick stitch love. As you folks may or may not know, peyote stitch was really my seed bead stitch of choice, and I was always super proud of, like, I'm just going to do peyote stitch. I don't need any more seed bead stitches. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. Brick stitch is fast. It's up there. It really ties now with my love of peyote stitch. Though peyote stitch I love because I can do it and I can have it be, I can do random. Freeform is the word I'm looking for. Freeform peyote. Brick stitch doesn't really lend itself as much to freeform. So there's the 3. Let me do that. If you want to see the image, let me zoom out just a little bit. So here's the other one. Can you see that in there? Okay. There we go. Okay. So now we're here. So now let's do this blue one. Okay. The slate. And I need 3 of those. 1, 2, and 3. This slate or eucalyptus, maybe, is it the same color, different name? 4481. So it's not. I'm sorry. This is Duracoat Opaque Eucalyptus. This is 4481. The slate is 4479. So that's why there's a little bit of a color shift with those. Sorry about that. I got that wrong. Not the first time. Won't be the last. Okay. So let's stitch this one around. And I keep that tail, even though sometimes it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, kind of gets in the way. I keep the tail there because I want to be able to use it, if I need to stitch on a last little thing or something. And I also want to be able to bury that thread in my other, right? So here's this. Let's do this one. Kathleen's asking, yeah, peyote is great. I think, but all of these stitches, the brick stitch, the peyote stitch, I think a lot of different cultures, certainly Native Americans use it. You certainly see it in the continent of Africa. You see some of the beadwork that comes out of the East and like the Ukraine and stuff, has this same kind of, seed bead stitches. So, yeah, for sure. It's kind of hard to say where all of this stuff kind of originated, but it's certainly nothing new. 1, 2, 3 of the nebula, I think. 1, 2, and 3. What I did when I was doing this, I did sort my mix just a little bit. So it was easier to pick them up, but you can also just pull them out of the mix itself. So now here is when we start to turn the corner. And when we turn the corner, pardon me, let me get a little drink of coffee here. This is just going to come right around and it's going to be fine. It's as you get further down in the rows that if you want things to lay flat, you kind of have to add an extra bead or 2 so that the curve spreads around and doesn't pull on the rows that are before it, if that makes sense. Okay. So here's this one. There's those 3. And now we are here. So now this is the rainbow light blue, I think, here. So that's this one, and we need 3. 1. And like Emily has taught us, see how the seed bead right here, it's kind of hard to see because I'm a little further away, but this one is a skinny one. So I'm going to put that skinny one to the side because I don't want it to be, I want all of these to be as close in height as I can get. Okay. So now this goes around and I'll stitch up. I have not been to where Kathleen's asking about bead factories. I haven't seen beads manufactured, the seed beads manufactured, but I have seen videos of them. It's so super satisfying how, especially the seed beads, they're made so precisely. It's really cool to see. So then when I got to this part of my piece here, right? You see that? When I got this far, then I just did 3 in the center. I played around with it, and I actually did 4, and then as I came up around, I saw that my color lines weren't matching. So I pulled it back and I put 3 in. Okay. So that's the cobalt, the matte cobalt, I think. Matte cobalt luster, I think, is what this is. So let's put those 3 in. And, you know, Mary Ellen, with everything that we have to do, a retreat in the Czech Republic would be great. And I've been tossing that around in my head. So you never know. Maybe in 2 years' time. You never know. That would be really fun. So I like it. So here we go. I'm going to come in. And I will go the 3 here. We have JP's for sure. We have talked about it for years and years. So we'll see. You never know. Let's take it one bead retreat at a time, right? It would be fun. It would be really fun to have the opportunity. Whoops, I stitched that wrong. To buy direct and to take people to go, and it would be really fun. Kathleen, same. Another thing to keep me from sleeping. Exactly. All right, there we go. And around. So here's our 3. That's our center. And then we will go up the side. Okay. So you can see, there we are, halfway through. All right, so now my hands are going a little slowly today. I don't know why. I guess it's because it's Saturday. We're just having a stitch in. We're just having fun, right? There's 1. Here's 2. So now the next round of brick, and we've got a bunch of brick stitch. You know, you saw it yesterday on Friday when we were talking about the brick stitch earring. This first round, your base row, you know, it can go around a base of something, right? Some kind of armature. You can go from a single drop or 1 bead to 2 beads for sure as well. The thing about brick stitch is that it really, there's 1, I want to pull these first, is that it's really fast. So if you are designing your project and you need to kind of pull things out and stuff and kind of restart or kind of fix a spot, it's not the end of the world. That's why, like when I was making this earring, I had to pull back on, especially on the second side, a few times to make sure that everything lined up. So to kind of perfect the count that I was using. So it's a pretty fast stitch to kind of, you know, create in for sure. It's not, and especially with these earrings, it's not like it's an all-day project. Not taking that long to pull these together. Clarissa's asking, how can you make the drop at the bottom be more swingy? This is, I mean, it's pretty, I mean, it's swingy across like this. What you could do to make it, that's a really good question, to make it more swingy. Here's my Post-it note from my little pearl float thing. You could come down, like, let's say here are your 10-aughts. That doesn't really show. Let me get a darker pen. Let me put it on this paper right here. Let's go backwards. If this is your Briolette, okay, and there's the hole in your Briolette, what I would do is I would come up and I would string through like a couple of seed beads here. So maybe you come down, you come down, you come down, you add 2 seed beads, come back up, and then go that way. So there's a little more of a neck right here so that this Briolette isn't like in line with the other beads. It kind of has a little kind of bail to swing from, if that makes sense. I might try that. And you could do that with 15-aughts if you wanted, if you didn't want it to be quite as big, right? Or maybe 2 11-aughts, whatever. But I might try that. Or if it's not a Briolette, or if it's a symbol end or something, you could do the same thing. Like you could, like if this is your thing and then you have a symbol that has like a loop here, right? You could wire wrap that Briolette to that symbol, little symbol piece. We're getting in some new symbols for 8-aughts that have just a little, they're mostly for 8-aughts, but it's fun to kind of play around with those. So something like that would work, and it has like a little loop on the end. We'll be getting those soon because the next project that Danielle Wicks is doing, pardon me, with us uses a new little symbol bead, which is good. So now I need 3 of those Duracoat eucalyptus right here. Okay. So here's this. Then after I finish stitching this up, I'm going to hold up some of the Briolettes. I want to show you some of the Briolettes that are going to launch. They're going to launch at 12:30 today. There are really limited supplies because they are, you know, they're not inexpensive. The quality is really beautiful. Especially, it seems like the smaller the Briolette gets, the more expensive they get because, you know, they cut them. It's kind of difficult to make those gemstones so small. They're all faceted, hand done, really beautiful Briolettes out of India. So the quality of those gemstones are really beautiful. So we do have a limited supply. I have thrown them into beadshopStudio for you. So when you check out beadshopStudio, do remember that you can use your coupon codes and you can use your rewards on everything in store except things that are in beadshopStudio because they are kind of limited editions, things that I may not be able to get again. But I really try and price those beadshopStudio items at a great value for you. So that's the story with those. So use those points. You do get your VIB points with them though, okay, with those purchases. You just can't redeem anything to purchase them, okay? And we thank you for understanding that. All right, so here, they're not available to be seen now, Kathleen, though, because they're all different, what I want to say, inventory levels. So I just have them all set to go at once. I mean, there's a good selection. It's not like there's just singles. There's multiple units, so they're not going to sell out super fast, though they might. But I would go in, I would look, I would make some notes here, and then just toss them in your cart and go. But as I say, there aren't singles. There's a pretty decent inventory amount, like 10 to 12 of each, because again, they're spendy, but I think you folks will like them. I know I've been teasing them, so let me just finish this stitch and let me show you a few more of them. Okay. I'm looking for a program that allows me to schedule a drop as a preview. It's when you build a website or build out a website, it's all, the functionality is all done with apps and different fancy things behind the scenes. And I'm the one who does it, right? I'm our webmaster. So I'm looking to see if I can find something that works with our shop that has like a countdown clock or something. I'm sure there's something out there. I just have to find it. Okay, so here we go. Here this is all the way around. Okay, and here's its mate, but there's the base row. Let me get in a little bit tighter. Okay. Oh, Lorraine, I love that you finished your float necklace. I believe that you finished it. I love it. So here's the drop, and I want to show you. So here's the briolette, our regular briolettes that we carry. Pardon me, and our regular briolette size is about 9.5. It's kind of about 10 by 9 or so, 10 millimeters by 9 millimeters. So I've got some more for the drop that I want to show you, and this will give you a good kind of visual for those. Here's some peridot. The peridot I am selling in groups of 6. Okay, and these are kind of like a little, they're kind of like a little dumpling almost, right? They've got a nice fat bottom to them. These, as I say, come in groups of 6. And they have, let me see if I can get my tweezers here. These, so they sit kind of like an inverted diamond. Can you see that there? So you can kind of see the size difference. These peridot are gorgeous. All of the briolettes that I've pulled up, I've tested size-wise. These are all going to use, and it's in the description as well, these all use 26 gauge wire or 28, pardon me, and a size 2 silk. So if you're doing a float with some of these, you want to use the size 2. Okay. And the size 2 is really pretty as a drop. Remember how Janice showed us on Wednesday during the pearl knotting class? She showed us on Wednesday her gemstone float. That is what these are all about. Okay. And the smallest hoop, Kathleen, that you're asking, the smallest hoop I think is the 20 millimeter. Are you talking about the earring hoop? Like the one that was on that hoop that I beaded, or like the smallest? We do have these mini hoops. These I think are 16 millimeter. I have them right here. This is 16 mil. Can you see the difference kind of size wise? And I think we also have that in a hammered hoop. We also have the tiny, that's the small hammered hoop. This is the 20 millimeter. I think that's 16. I think is what that is. Let me show you. Let me very carefully put these drops away. Oh, here's the other hammered one. It's a little bit bigger. This is the mini hoop right here. That's the hammered hoop. Here, let me try and move these. Okay. Let me show you. Oh, I've got some big ones. This is Mystic Topaz. This is the largest one we have. These I'm selling by the piece. This is the Mystic Topaz Brio. Look at that. Wouldn't this be amazing as like a pendant if you put it like in the middle of something like that, right? I love it. Oh, did I miss with my color block? I think I might have. I think that one, I think is wrong. I think you're right. Yep, it is. I did that over here too on this finished one. I think there's one of these that's off, but I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna leave it, right? So this one's a big one. This one is like 20 millimeters, I think, or so. Maybe it's even bigger. Let me see. Yeah, it's just under 20. And then across this way, about 18. Really pretty, right? Like that. Really, really pretty. I love this one. And I only have 2, 4, 6. I've got 8 of these guys. But they're so pretty. It's that Mystic Topaz that has that kind of brilliance to it. I have another Mystic, and the photograph, you guys, does not do it justice. And I have to kind of speed through this because I want to get off before you guys, before the drop happens. But and what I would do is I would do some shopping now, my friends, and put things in your cart. But if you do a couple of different orders today, just tell us in the comments in your order and we will combine them for you. Okay. This is black spinel. So the beads are black and it has a blue iris coating, that Mystic coating on the top, right? I love these. You can see this size with this one, right? These are just gorgeous. These also are being sold by the 6 bead grouping. These are blue zircon. These are coming in 8 to a bag. Zircon is expensive. These do have a few inclusions. I want to tell you. They have a few inclusions, but not so that they detract from the beauty of this. The camera does not do these guys justice, but look if we use those in that earring. Wouldn't those look good at the bottom there? Just that single with some of those. Again, the blue zircon. So beautiful. No, these come in a bag of 6. Sorry, not a bag of 8. Bag of 6. Blue zircon. I have rainbow moonstone, which is here. Another good size. So pretty. I want to show you those real quick. A few inclusions. Some of these have inclusions just because that's how the stone is, right? The camera doesn't pick up the flash as much as I'd like it to, but you can see. So pretty. What else? There's some other stones here. You'll see them. I've got some carnelian. I showed you the peridot. I've got a little garnet nug. These come in groups of 6. Look at that little dumpling. Look at how pretty those are. Really, really nice. I really love them. These are really clear. Not hardly any inclusions in these. But you'll see in the description, you'll see the size, you'll see how they're sold, you know, by the multiple piece or by the single piece. Oh, I want to show you 2 more. These are labradorite, and these come in the 6 piece. That's that little pointy one. You can see the labradorite flash these little dainty, tiny ones, if you get a variety, let's say if we get anything, like just a couple of bags, a few bags, maybe you get like 12 total. And, they come in bags of 6. So maybe you get like 3 bags or whatever. They would look great on strung as a float. You can put a few pearls in between. You could put a few seed beads in between. You don't need that many of these, to make an impact because, they are super special. Here's the kyanite. Kyanite are coming. Finding kyanite this small and this clear. These are sold by the package of 4 here. And look at that kyanite. Aren't those pretty? Those are smooth, not faceted. Nothing in the, I have some, I think I only have carnelian, no hessonite garnet. I have a few more that I haven't put up. I have another kind of handful of interesting sizes and shapes that I'll probably put up later in the week. Photographing these and counting these up and stuff kind of takes a while, so it's not as fast to put up as I'd like. But you'll see all of those. Those all launch in about 10 minutes from now. So I've got to wrap things up. We still have some of the mix, at least we did. It'll definitely sell out soon. Oh, I wanted to show you so we can see this is starting to dry. I'll take it out of the plastic. It's still a little malleable because it was on the plastic on the inside. So I'm just going to go ahead and shape it. But can you see how this is really kind of stiffening up very nicely? And you can see the front of that. Okay, so it looks great, and it's going to keep that shape, and that was done with the diamond glaze. So I'll set that aside. Got a little bit of diamond glaze on my finger here. So that's that. You can check out the hoops, the brios. We're going to be dropping the TGBE stuff, so keep an eye out for that. I also have a really great project for Wednesday. I hope I get the sample done. We'll see. That's coming up. I've got the TGBE coming up. I may delay that Wednesday sample for a week. I don't know. Stay tuned to your newsletters, right? It's all in the newsletter. We really, really appreciate you being here. I said it at the beginning of the show. I'll say it here at the end of the show. We really appreciate you dropping that little tip into our coffee tip jar. Thank you so much. Do not feel like it's mandatory, my friends, but those little tips especially show how much you appreciate all of this free education that is on our beadshop.com YouTube channel. We have over 1,000 videos on there now. So you can find us, hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. You can reach out to us at info@beadshop.com anytime. If you have any questions, we're only just on the other side of the computer. Hit us up on our Facebook page at beadshop.com, our Pinterest, and our Instagram. Pardon me. And again, we thank you for your support of all of this free education that we give you over here at Bead Shop. Stay tuned, my friends. It's going to be a busy week next week. Lots of fun stuff. We appreciate you getting the word out, sharing that the Great Bead Extravaganza is coming up, and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for your kind support, because without you folks out there hitting that like, those signups, those thumbs up, all of those things, we would not be able to do what we love doing, which is sharing the creativity and solace of beadwork here, right? Busy hands are happy hands for sure. So thank you, my dear friends. Thanks for sharing, and I will see you on Wednesday on our live broadcast. Thanks so much, everybody. See you soon.